Have you ever let a careless comment or a small act from someone ruin your entire day? Maybe someone interrupted you mid-sentence, ignored your feelings, or did something thoughtless. It was minor, yet somehow it hurt, annoyed you, and you carried that feeling around all day. That didn't happen because they were powerful. It happened because we gave them the power to control our emotions. Now, imagine a day where you're no longer swayed by criticism, judgmental stares, or unexpected mishaps. A day where you're truly free in your mind, untouched by negative emotions. That's not a fantasy. That's a skill, and that's the practice of emotional mastery. In this video, I'll share with you 10 powerful lessons drawn from Stoic philosophy and real-life experiences to help you. Stop reacting impulsively. Let go of anger, build deep inner calm, and live freely from the inside out. If you're ready to begin the journey of mastering your emotions, keep watching, because this might be the start of a stronger, more peaceful version of you. 1. Emotions are your choice. No one can control your emotions unless you let them. It may sound simple, but it's a powerful shift. Because emotions and reactions are not the same. You can feel anger without lashing out. You can feel hurt without retaliating. The space between stimulus and response is where your power lies. Instead of reacting, you can pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, why is this triggering me? Is this about them or something unresolved within me? Will this reaction bring me peace or prolong my suffering? Think of it like noise-canceling headphones in a noisy city. The noise still exists, but it doesn't reach you. That's the power of emotional detachment. I used to react to every criticism, but I learned. Fast reactions are often the wrong ones. Every time I paused before reacting, I felt freer and stronger. Next time you're hurt, provoked, or angry, remember, you can stop. You can ask questions, and you can choose a response that protects your peace. 2. Don't expect others to act like you. Have you ever felt hurt because someone didn't treat you the way you would have treated them? You show up. You care. You're there when they need you. But when you need them, silence. And you think, if it were me, I'd never treat them like that. But here's the truth. They are not you, and they're not obligated to live by your expectations. Everyone walks a different path, shaped by their own wounds, beliefs, and values. What's obvious to you may be foreign to someone else. Expecting others to act like you is like expecting the weather to always behave. It only leads to disappointment. I've been there, expecting too much, and feeling let down when people didn't show up. But the issue wasn't them. It was the unspoken expectations I carried. So I learned to recognize, what am I expecting here? Challenge, is that realistic? Adjust. How can I respond with grace and clarity? Set clear boundaries, communicate openly, and most importantly, release others from your silent rules. Letting go of expectations isn't cold, it's compassionate for both them and yourself. 3. Let go of the need to always be right. Have you ever found yourself arguing not because the issue was huge, but because you just needed to be right? Maybe it was over directions, or how to do a task, and suddenly being right felt like a battle for identity. Ask yourself, why do I need to be right so badly? Am I defending truth or defending a wounded ego? We often argue not to understand, but to win. And beneath that need is often fear. Fear of not being heard, fear of seeming weak, fear of being wrong. I used to fight to prove my point, but I paid with stress, disconnection, and lost peace. Now I practice 3 things. Pause before reacting. Ask, is this really worth it? Listen to understand, not to respond. Choose battles wisely. Not everything needs a rebuttal. Sometimes choosing peace is more powerful than being right. Ask yourself, do I want to be right, or do I want to be at peace? 4. Don't let others define your worth. Some words stay with us longer than they should. A comment about your appearance, a judgment about your career, a dismissive look. Suddenly you start questioning, am I enough? Do I need to change to please them? Remember this. Your value doesn't come from praise and isn't lost with criticism. We're conditioned to chase validation from grades, likes, approval. But real worth comes from within. Marcus Aurelius said, "We love ourselves more than anyone else, but care more about their opinion than our own." That hits deep. I once lost sleep over harsh feedback, but later realized they didn't see my efforts. They saw through their own filters. Learn to filter feedback. Some is helpful, some is noise. Pause before reacting. Separate facts from opinions. Reaffirm, I am valuable, regardless of outside voices. You don't control what others say, but you do control what you hold on to. Live by your truth, not their judgments. 5. Protect your energy with boundaries. You've probably said yes to things you didn't want to do just to keep the peace, helping out when you were already exhausted, answering calls when you really needed rest, saying yes when your whole body was screaming no. But here's the truth. Saying no is not selfish. It's an act of self-respect. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. They define what comes in and what stays out. When you say yes to everything and everyone, you're eventually saying no to your own peace and well-being. I used to think declining meant I was being rude, but every forced yes drained me. And when I finally learned to say no, I became more present, more energized, more myself. Clear boundaries don't push people away. They let the right ones come closer. Try saying, I'd love to help, but I need some time to recharge. Evenings are for my personal rest. Can we talk tomorrow? I understand this is urgent, but I can't commit right now. The people who matter will understand. The ones who don't, we're crossing the line anyway. Boundaries teach others how to treat you. More importantly, they remind you to honor yourself. 6. Detach yourself from other people's opinions. Have you ever felt thrown off just because someone made a passing remark about your choices, or doubted yourself because of one judgmental glance? That's normal. We all crave acceptance. But here's a reminder. Other people's opinions are not your truth. Their words reflect their experiences, biases, and beliefs, not your reality. You can't live your life through someone else's lens. The more you shape your life to fit their expectations, the more disconnected you'll feel from who you really are. I've tried living to please others. It left me drained and unsure. Eventually, I realized if I let every outside opinion shape me, I'd never know my true self. So I started asking, does this person know the full picture of who I am? Is this feedback useful or just projection? Will taking this personally serve my growth? You can listen without absorbing. You can hear without internalizing. Imagine opinions as weather. You can't stop the wind, but you can build shelter. You define your identity. When you stop giving power to every comment or critique, you reclaim your freedom. Trust your own voice. It's the only one that matters in the end. 7. Respond with silence instead of anger. Sometimes, what people want most is a reaction, a sharp comeback, an emotional outburst, a moment where you lose control. Because if you get angry, they've won. They've pulled you into the chaos they're stuck in. But here's the truth. You don't have to engage. You can choose silence. Silence doesn't mean weakness. Silence is subtle strength, a quiet refusal to step into negativity. I used to react immediately when attacked. I felt the need to defend myself with sharp words, but every time I didn't feel stronger. I just felt drained. Then I learned, sometimes silence is enough. Someone who attacks you isn't looking for understanding. They're looking for control, and silence is how you don't hand it to them. Imagine standing in a room full of chaos, people yelling, criticizing, demanding, and you simply stand still. Breathe, observe, no reaction. That's emotional mastery. And sometimes, your silence confuses them more than any argument ever could. Pause before speaking. Listen, not to respond, but to understand how you feel. Speak only when your words bring healing, not harm. Here's a powerful question to ask yourself. Is what I'm about to say better than silence? If not, let silence do its work. Let it hold you steady in the storm. 8. Practice gratitude to dissolve anger. Some days it feels like everything is working against you. You're late because of traffic. A colleague makes a judgmental comment. A family member says something that stings. Each little thing adds up, like small sparks, until they ignite into a flame of anger. But here's something surprising. There's a tool powerful enough to extinguish that fire. It's not about control. It's not about suppression. It's gratitude. Sounds simple, maybe even cliché. But both science and life experience point to one truth. You cannot be angry and grateful at the same time. Those emotions simply can't coexist, just like light can't share the same space with darkness. Gratitude is like a new mental map. It doesn't erase the situation, but it changes how you see it. Picture this. You're stuck in traffic, feeling irritated. But then you think, at least I have a car to drive. I still have time to reflect on my day. Someone I care about is waiting for me at the destination. Just a few thoughts like that. And the anger begins to dissolve. Not because the situation changed, but because your perspective did. You can start practicing this right now in simple ways. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each day, no matter how small. When anger arises, ask, what good still exists right now? See setbacks not as punishment, but as lessons in disguise. Gratitude doesn't just calm your anger, it softens your heart, slows your pulse, and reshapes how you show up in the world. So next time you feel your calm slipping away, pause and choose gratitude. Because when you're grateful, you're telling the world, I still see light, even in the dark. 9. Redefine criticism as a growth opportunity. It's not easy to stay calm when someone criticizes you. When someone picks apart the work you poured your heart into. When a loved one says something that hits a tender spot. Our first instinct is often to defend, react, or retreat into bitter silence. But what if I told you that criticism, while uncomfortable, can be a gift for your growth? Not every comment is accurate or kind, but hidden inside, even the harshest feedback might be a tiny piece of truth, a mirror that helps you see something you didn't notice before. I once had a boss who said bluntly, your presentation was scattered and lacked focus. I was hurt. I'd worked hard. But when I cooled down and looked again, I realized he was right. That moment shaped how I communicate ever since. What matters is learning to separate constructive criticism from noise. Pause. Don't react instantly. Consider the source. Does this person know you? Do they have expertise or good intentions? Most importantly, ask, is there a lesson here, even just a small one? You don't have to accept every opinion, but if you're humble enough to listen and strong enough to filter, you'll grow through every experience instead of shrinking from it. A single critique doesn't define you, but your response to it shapes who you become. So next time feedback stings, ask yourself, is there a sliver of truth here I need to face? Can I use this to become better? When you redefine criticism, it stops being an attack and starts becoming a stepping stone for growth. 10. Master the art of letting go. Imagine this. You're holding a burning coal, hot, searing, painful. You grip it tightly, ready to throw it at the person who hurt you. But the longer you hold it, the more it burns you. Anger, resentment, and emotional pain are just like that burning coal. They don't just damage relationships, they quietly exhaust your heart. That's why letting go isn't about forgiving others. It's about freeing yourself. You don't have to forget. You don't have to accept what was wrong. But you can choose not to carry that pain every single day. I once held on tightly to a sense of injustice towards someone who had dismissed my efforts without a second thought. I told myself, I'll never forget what they did. And I didn't. But what I didn't realize then was that my resentment was eroding my peace, not theirs. Letting go doesn't come from forgetting. It comes from accepting. What happened, happened. I can't change the past, but I can choose how I respond today and tomorrow. You can begin simply by recognizing your emotions. No denial, no forced forgiveness. Just admitting, I'm still hurting. Then reframe the experience. What was this meant to teach me? Finally, bring your focus back to the present, where your power, freedom, and choice live. Remember, every time you let go of something that no longer serves you, you make space for peace to enter. So if you're carrying something heavy today, a memory, a grudge, a person who no longer belongs, ask yourself, is this still worth holding on to? How much lighter would life feel if I let it go? Letting go doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. Conclusion: the journey of emotional mastery. If you're still here listening, I know there's something in you that deeply longs for peace. Not a life free from chaos, but a self strong enough to stay calm in it. Not a mind without negative emotions, but a heart wise enough to hold them, then let them go. Emotional mastery isn't a destination. It's not about becoming perfect or never feeling hurt again. It's a daily practice. It's choosing to pause before yelling, choosing to listen before judging, choosing gratitude over resentment, choosing calm over chaos. Each time you choose peace over reactivity, you grow. Each time you draw a boundary, you heal. Each time you release something heavy, you rise. There's no magic formula, just an invitation. Keep practicing. And if this video helped you, share it with someone who might need it. Not as a lecture, but as a gift. If you've experienced something powerful on your emotional journey, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Because we are not alone in this path, and sometimes peace begins with something as small as this thought. Today, I'll be kinder to myself.